The TurboGrafx CD didn't have a huge amount of games to its library. Luckily for us, the PC Engine CD had a relatively long life in Japan, and these games play in our North American consoles today. So, all I had to do is sift through the unplayable ones for those non-Japanese speaking people, and find the best games to play for North America. And boy, did I find a gem here. Hey, I'm the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today we do our review of Shockman 3 for the PC Engine CD.
Second Opinion Games.
Thank goodness this is a CD game. That means it's going to sound amazing. All the sound effects are pretty much processed by the chipset, which is also very good. However, all the random background music is all processed off the Redbook audio on the CD. It sounds very amazing. However, the relatively long load times of the time mean there are clear cases where the music cuts out and back in again. But that's a very small complaint for a beautiful sounding game. Also taking advantage of the CD processing power is anime cutscenes, and spots in the game where the bosses stop to talk to you, which is absolutely great, because how else would we be able to get teenage girls in bikinis in our video games if it wasn't for this awesome capability? Simply could not be done if it was just on a standard Hue card. So here we go, we got it. And it does give the game its own distinct flavor and gives us a little bit of background on the characters in the game. And we kind of needed this to get a feel for the characters because we don't speak Japanese. Watching the anime cutscenes gives us a feel of the game and a story without having to know anything that's going on. But we really don't even care about that. Let's get to the gameplay. I would say it's your standard run-to-the-side platformer, but this game is far from standard. There is so much variety and bosses in the game that it's just astounding. One stage, you could just be running to the right, hacking stuff down, and then all of a sudden, you're in a mech suit, blowing things up with lightning effects. Then you could be jumping from platform to platform, trying to stay alive while also attacking enemies. I mean, there really is a lot of variety to this gameplay, which is great because the game is relatively short and it keeps you on your toes at all times and keeps it extremely fun. So let me talk about how the game's played for just a moment here. Button 2 attacks. If you hold button 2 down for a brief period of time and let go of it, you fire a orb that does a massive amount of damage. While the orb's on the screen, if you hit button 2 again and swipe your sword, you could then take control of the orb with the D-pad and run it into your enemies. And it does a massive amount of damage. Taking advantage of this really helps for certain boss battles. Also, there's another little weird thing about this game, and that's you have one life. If you die, no continue screen pops up. Instead, you just go back to the title screen. However, if you hit the start button, it continues right back on the same level you died on. Now, when I said no continue screen pops up, there is a slight change I want to make to that. And that's if you collect 100 of these power pellets that happen to be laying around after you kill an enemy, you can earn continues. Now, these continues essentially act like lives, though. When you die, you pick up right where you are, which means certain boss battles can go down a lot faster because you don't have to worry about death and starting at the beginning of the level again. With that out of the way, let's play this game. Switching gears back to the bosses in this game, there are multiple bosses throughout every single stage. While the game itself isn't very long, the bosses really help to add variety to it. Some of them don't even need to be hit at all to be killed. Like this awesome dragon that chases you because the game suddenly decided to switch to a shooter. All you have to do is stay ahead of it, dodge the creatures that are flying at you from the front, and they run into the dragon behind you, and the dragon dies. And some of these other bosses just are amazing to look at. Except for the last boss of the game, which is by far the weakest. Basically, save up a couple of continues and slash away at him until he dies, and the game's over. It's a short, quick, and fun romp. And it is definitely worth the $25 you're going to pay for it. If you like short and fast games like Contra 3 on the Super Nintendo, you're absolutely going to love this game. And any excuse to fire up my Turbo Duo and play a super fun game for it, I'm going to take it. And I just love having this game in my lineup. But that's just my opinion. So, thanks for watching. Like more PC Engine CD reviews? Well, I try and do about one a week, so hit the subscribe button and you'll have more before you know it. Also, don't be afraid to leave me a comment. I like to read every single one of them. After all, I do play games over 25 years old. So, thanks a lot for that.